It's really important to understand how a property is valued, because ultimately when you go to buy a property, this is going to play into the numbers and the returns and so on and so on. Specifically, I'm talking about residential properties versus commercial. So let's assume we're talking about apartments, we're talking about places people live. This is applicable to like retail and whatever, but just to keep it simple, we are talking about places for people to live, but the residential versus the commercial designation. The residential designation accounts for single family homes, duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes. So 1 to 4 units is considered residential. 5+ units is considered commercial, just like a hotel or a retail shopping center or whatever. That is a commercial designation. Now, why this matters is you need to understand how the value of a property is determined, because, like I said, you need to know your options as you get into the numbers. Let's start with commercial property. The value of a commercial property is solely based on the income it brings in. So for instance, let's say you're looking at a 6-unit apartment building and you want to get financing for it, which means it's going to be commercial. If that 6-unit building is completely empty, you're not going to be able to get a normal loan, because the income has to be there. And so it is a very income dependent valuation. And so let's say you buy the 6-unit building with tenants in it, you kick them all out, and then you rehab the whole place, and now you're charging double for rent. Well, now the value of that property in theory just went up double because it's based on the new income. So that's how you improve commercial properties as far as increasing their value. Now, residential properties, which is what I work with and more often gets confusing for people. Let me give you a quick example to kind of open this up. California is known to not have cash flow. Like, your expenses every month are going to be more expensive than the income that you bring in. So you're negative cash flow every month. I've had people come and say, well, I found this property in San Jose and, they're asking $400,000, but really the numbers don't work if I pay more than $200,000 for it. Do you think they'll come down? Or I don't understand why they won't come down, because it needs to be under $200,000 for there to be cash flow. Well, guess what? Residential properties are not valued based on their income. They are valued based on the market value. So the comps in the area, just like if you're buying a primary home, how does that home get priced? It gets priced based on the market. Where are you in the general real estate market? What are prices going for in that particular city, market, neighborhood, area? So you can improve, like, the way to improve a residential property is you buy a really distressed property, you improve the condition of the property regardless of income, and now you've increased the value of the property. But let's say you buy a residential property, you do nothing to it, and you bring new tenants in, and now they're for some reason paying double, which is not realistic, but let's say they're paying double. That impacts your value? None. So people tend to think about this backwards. They think about it how commercial would work, is like in commercial, if that same scenario is there where a seller is trying to charge you $400,000, but the income only really says it's worth $200,000, then you have a basis to stand on. But residential, you don't have a basis to stand on to argue what it is. And that's, for example, the problem with California is the values of the properties are so high that the rents, you can't get the positive cash flow. And you can't go to a seller and say, well, but I'm not going to make cash flow unless it's under 200,000. They're going to look at you like, okay. So, and then, again, on the improving thing, you either have to improve the condition of the property for residential, or if it's already improved, which is the case for turnkey rental properties, the city is the only way to, the market itself has to go up in order for you to get that appreciation. Whereas with commercial, if you just increase the income via whatever means, that should increase the value of the property. So just remember, if you're looking for residential and you aren't finding cash flow, that may just be, there are many cities and many markets, more than not actually, that aren't really supportive of cash flow. And there's not really anything you can do about it, because the properties are priced at market value, but it's that market value that has to drive the returns, if that made sense. So Just make sure you know what you're looking for, because the financing options are different in both cases, but you understand exactly what contributes to the value of a property, whether residential or commercial, because if you don't understand that, you're going to probably be looking at the wrong things to adjust if you need to manipulate those numbers in any way.